back here on Southeastern 6, presented by FanDuel. Couple games already in the books on a very wintry SEC basketball Saturday. Max my nose. I look like Rudolph over here. I've been outside either playing in the snow, shoveling the snow, blowing the snow, all kinds of stuff going on out there, trying to keep the paths clear as the snow and soon to be ice comes down. So, meanwhile, you're just sitting up there having a great old time.
These are my elements. These are my elements where I thrive. Come on, builds a little character, a little cold weather.
Yeah, well, it was cold in Lexington. It was cold in Starkville, and two games that played out a little bit different when it comes to the actual gameplay. Kentucky gets a 72-63 win over Ole Miss. Vanderbilt, who we said really needed to get back on track, said, you know what, we're going to get back on track all right. We're going to go win 88-56 at Mississippi State, a really tough place to play. And they go in and win by 32. So the Commodores with a bit of a statement there after the 3-game losing streak. But let's start with the Cats. 9-point win. The streak continues for the 5 in a row now. Kentucky Wildcats. Incredible turnaround on the season. Otega Oweh still doing his thing out there. 23 points in this game. Colin Chandler, who I think is just, if you think about during this 5-game winning streak, I feel like Colin Chandler has just made a lot of big plays.
Yep.
And, goes for 12 and 7 here, hit a couple threes. Jasper Johnson, 11 and 17 off the bench, hit 3 threes. And yes, I think the refereeing, some people will bring up certain things about this game, but hey, it's another victory for the Cats here. In impressive fashion.
This was my type of ball game. This was my type of ball game right here. Nice slug it out, a little scrappy. Tensions are high. Some missed calls back and forth. Crowd booing. Temperatures rising in the building, not outside. This was a high temperature game in terms of just the tension between the two teams here. It was a battle. This was an absolute battle. Oweh gets in foul trouble early. Shots aren't falling for either side. Both teams didn't have a positive team assist-to-turnover ratio. Ole Miss with 8 assists, 10 turnovers. Kentucky with 12 and 12. It was a scrappy, hard-fought game, getting on the floor, bodies flying everywhere. I was really impressed. It's the second half Cats now. It's just the second half Cats. Yeah. Every game now, it's either it's Aberdeen, it's Oweh. There's one of these members of the backcourt has a very quiet first half. In this instance, Oweh picks up the 2 quick fouls, which so you can have your opinion on if they were good calls or not, but sits most of the first half there and then comes out blazing in the second half. How crazy is it that Kentucky is down their starting point guard, their starting center, and either their 6-man, their stretch 4 could start, could be right off the bench, and they're still going 9 deep. 9 players in double-digit minutes in a hard-fought game, down 3 guys already. It speaks to the depth. It speaks to the development of this bench here. Jasper Johnson coming on strong when you need him the most, Blake. Jasper, 11 points, 3 threes. Great win. You won it with defense. That's the way that Kentucky's been winning on this little streak here.
All right, here's some quotes from Mark Pope after the game from White Huff here on Twitter. Quote, we have guys that are falling in love with making the dirty, non-scoring, massively important winning plays of the game. We have guys stepping up and doing that all over the place. End quote. Woo. Getting a little warm over here in the garage, making those kind of comments about the Cats, making those plays right there. And speaking of which, he had a quote also that you kind of alluded to. Here you go. Quote, we're kind of using everybody we have, and we're going to have to do that because we're running out of guys, end quote. So, that's the thing is like they are having to, kind of go into the bench here a bit. And, talking about Jasper Johnson, he made a sort of parallel to, hey, someone like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, like he didn't start his freshman season, and I think he turned out okay. Come on, I'm not saying he's going to be him, but still, I mean, I think it's kind of the point is we said coming into the year, one of the biggest strengths we thought of this team was going to be the depth. And now that they've had all these injuries, and you sort of look at how everything is playing out now, like, yeah, I mean, that's been the biggest difference. Is like, it's one where it seemed like they were just trying to throw anything and everything at the wall or in the season to figure it out. Whereas now, I feel like we mentioned several times in a row here, everybody kind of has a defined role here, and you got guys who can step up at any time. And one game it's this guy, one game it's that guy, and here we are.
Yeah, we're not going to spend too much time on the refs, guys. I know they were bad. That non-call chicken wing, I think it was Corey Chest driving on Oweh. Like, there were some bad calls. And yes, the refs have been, we could probably in most SEC games sit here for 5-10 minutes and pick apart how bad the refs were. Like, yeah, they were not great in this game. However, you know who was great? Mr. Yelovic, okay?
Shout out to the
Yelovic.
bitches.
One half the bitches. Shout out. This is a guy, okay? This is an embodied. This is just exactly what Kentucky basketball has been this year. A little bit up and down. Doesn't start the whole season. Then gets phased out of the lineup in December. Doesn't even play the first 2 games of SEC play. 0 minutes in Alabama and Missouri. Starts the last 4 games. He had 8 rebounds in 18 minutes against Texas. Comes out with 7 rebounds against Ole Miss. 4 of them offensive. He's out there smiling and laughing after the and one. I don't think he made the free throw, but you can tell he's really starting to gain some confidence here. So I wanted to get a shout out there to Yelovic, a guy that people quit on, myself included, after he was a healthy scratch those first 2 games. And he comes back and he's absolutely fighting out there. I love it. That's what college basketball is all about right there.
It is. By the way, too, if you want a quote from Chris Beard, I can't give it to you because they didn't do the post-game press conference because they're trying to get the hell out of Lexington to get back to Oxford with all the weather going on. So I know there's some people trying to run with this on Twitter, folks. I don't think it's an actual big deal. I think they truly are just trying to get on the bus, get wherever they've got to go to see if they can get back to Oxford, I assume. Because I think Kentucky also, I think it was pointed out. Let's see. Like Kentucky didn't do its post-game radio show on the court, canceled the autograph signings on the floor. So, like, it's not a big deal. So please don't anyone make a big thing of Chris Beard not doing the press conference afterwards. But, I mean, I think if you look at it from that standpoint, like we talked about, Ole Miss was one of the hottest teams in the league.
Right.
And, now they go 0-2. We said it's kind of tough because you had to play Auburn on Tuesday. Thought it was a winnable game. They lose that one by 12. They go lose on the road here by 9 in Kentucky. Really no shame, I think, in sitting there, having had what I don't think is a terrible week for Ole Miss. It's just, played 2 tough opponents. And now we talk about upcoming schedules. I know someone brought it up about Kentucky in the chat, but like Ole Miss's upcoming schedule, they get the midweek off next week, then they host Vanderbilt, and then they're at Tennessee, at Texas, home against Alabama. So pretty rough 4-game stretch coming up here on the heels of 2 pretty tough games this week. So I don't know. Ole Miss, I think, like we said, Max, I think it's like it's a long way to get this team back on the NCAA tournament. The conversation right now probably. I don't remember exactly where they were in the net this morning. I can look it up, but I think you're just trying to see if you can find something to navigate this SEC slate to where you can at least give yourself a chance. But they're 88 in the net. It's just it's still a long way to go.
Yeah, you got to give credit to the Kentucky defense here. I mean, Ole Miss did not play a bad game. They just could not get any open looks in and around the rim. 31% from 2-point range for Ole Miss. 31%. That's not the 3. They shot a higher percentage from 3 than they did from 2. I mean, you got to credit Mo Diabate with 2 blocks, Malachi Moreno with 2 blocks, Garrison and Yelovic each with a block, a single block themselves. 7 blocks for Kentucky. That was not a this is not perimeter. This is an interior Kentucky defense that has really sharpened up last few games. And if there's Malik Dia, mismatch nightmare. AJ Storr, he did get his, but still, AJ Storr, a maestro in the mid-range. Corey Chest, offensive rebounds. This is an Ole Miss team that has capable guys to win one-on-one battles in and around the rim. Kentucky shut them down. You got to credit the Cats' defense.
Yeah, no, we've said, I think that's been the big catalyst during this run for Kentucky's defensively.
Yes.
What they've been able to do. And yeah, that was, again, on display in this game right here. So, mention the upcoming schedule for the Cats. Yeah, they're at Vanderbilt on Tuesday. We'll see how that goes in terms of the ice storm that is headed for Nashville. At Arkansas next Saturday. So, obviously a very huge week. So, it's nice to have a 5-game winning streak going into, probably on paper is your toughest week of the season, I would think, just based on kind of the way it sets up, outside of maybe, that stretch where they played North Carolina and the Zags in early December. But after that, they get Oklahoma at home, host Tennessee, at Florida. So, yeah, it's, they've got some tough games in there. But as a team now that has proven they can win some of these tough games, they can find a way to win the close ones. And so, yeah, 4 straight wins of this 5 in a row by 9 points or fewer now. So they're finding ways to make the plays to keep them in position to have a chance to win. So, yeah, and they just keep doing it right now. So, yeah, Kentucky entered the day at 29 in the net. So you talk about drastic improvement.
Yeah.
And this should only help. Should keep them right there and probably move up a couple spots too. So,
entered the day on the Torvik Tourneycast with a 81% chance to make the tournament. That's just going to keep climbing up there. Going to be up above 90 pretty soon if they keep winning. Honestly, just if they win one of these next two on the road, I think that climbs up above 90%, which is massive compared to what it was before that LSU game. I think it was 49% before LSU.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're 1 win away. If you split this next week, you're 1 win away from kind of being locked in.
Yeah. We'll see how it goes, yeah. But it's hard not to be impressed with the Cats right now based on how this has gone for them.
Wildcat just he's saying it right before I'm saying it.
Yeah. That's it. All right. $5 super chat. Perhaps taking a shot at Travis Perry here. But you know what? Hey, it's a win for the Cats. So there you go. All right. Meanwhile, Vanderbilt goes to Mississippi State.
Holy smokes.
Wallops the Bulldogs 88-56. My goodness. Again, I thought this was a tricky game for Vanderbilt. We mentioned all the reasons why. They had just come off a 3-game losing streak. They just got beat by 25 on the road at Arkansas. And they were going to play Mississippi State, who we said, yes, had been on a 4-game losing streak. But, they lost 1 point to Ole Miss at home. Even Alabama, yes, they lost by 15. But the 2 road games, you're just sort of like, well, it's road games in the SEC, right? I don't want to read too much into this. But, then you come home and get beat by 32. And we talk about like the spot game, right? I don't know which team like this was supposed to be the setup for, because you're like, Vanderbilt was coming off a 3-game losing streak, Mississippi State was coming off a 4-game losing streak, and it turns out the spot game was in favor of the Commodores because they just came out, took it to Mississippi State right from the jump, and pretty much did whatever they wanted. Shot 68% from 2 in this game. The turnover numbers, 17. You were texting me at one point. I don't remember what the stat was for Mississippi State in that first 16 minutes or whatever it was. And they couldn't buy a shot from 3, which again is not surprising when you're having to play your way back into it and you're shooting more threes, those kind of things. But just I don't know how to say it. Just an absolutely fantastic performance for a Vanderbilt team that absolutely needed that right now.
Yeah, I think I'm not sure what exactly the closing spread on this was. I can tell you in 2 seconds. It was 7.5. So Vanderbilt was minus 7.5, ended up winning by 32. That just goes to like, holy smokes. Mississippi State never had a lead, never led for a second in this game. The stat that you're mentioning, there's 4 minutes left in the first half. They go to a timeout. Mississippi State's team assist total is 2. Their team turnover total is 11. First 16 minutes of the game, Mississippi State had 2 assists to 11 turnovers. They end the game with 7 assists, 17 turnovers. Duke Miles had 7 steals by himself. 7 steals for Duke Miles. We showed some clips of Mark Byington after the Arkansas game. It was a different tone than after the Texas game. It was 2 road games, 2 road losses, but there was a different tone from Byington. He felt like his team didn't play too bad at Texas. Just didn't make the plays when they needed to. Against Arkansas, he was extremely disappointed with the squad. No focus, no fight, no effort. Said that was the first time all year he was really disappointed with the effort from his Commodores. And so you get that response. You played that game on a Tuesday. You get the extra day of practice coming out on a Saturday. And holy smokes, that's a response right there. A little bit of a development with the lineup, Blake. Tyler Harris, who had kind of been that fill-in guy for Frankie Collins at, like the 2-3 spot there for the past few games. Chandler Bing and Mike James kind of soak up those minutes in this game. Chandler Bing with 19 minutes, Mike James with 12, Tyler Harris with 4. So might be a little bit of a development to watch there. Chandler Bing, the freshman, 6'5" freshman, getting a little bit more minutes. We can see if that is a development to follow there. But yeah, probably the lowest moment of the Chris Jans era for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, that's brutal. I just was not expecting that. Again, I thought it'd be a pretty tight game between these two based on the way both had been playing. But yes, that was not the case. And Vanderbilt just, took it to him. And I think that's, we said too, like the spot game, we were kind of laughing about, hey, when anytime a coach calls out the players, game over next time around. I don't care. Vandy could have played the 96 Bulls, and they'd had a shot, because anytime you get called out by your coach, you're gonna have to prove it. So they did that, and too, remember we talked about like how it impacts your net. I don't know how many people are gonna like it, but I guarantee you Vanderbilt's net, which currently was at 16 coming into this game, is gonna it's going up by winning by 32 on the road in a game like that, covering the way they did. So that'll give them a bit of a boost. I think they had dropped to a 4 seed, maybe 5 seed in one of the bracketologies we saw recently. Not saying this fixes your entire season, but man, you think about it, I think to play that way, even just going in, if you'd have won by 2 on the road at Mississippi State, it'd been nice to just get them, all right, get the monkey off your back. You got the win, great. But you're still a little bit shaken going into that Kentucky game on Tuesday. But now, to play the way they did, going into that game now, and you have the Cats playing as well as they're playing, now you feel a little bit better if you're Vanderbilt. You're just like, all right, we fixed some of this. We found a way to go win on the road and be impressive after getting blown out on the road twice in a row. And then to go play like that, that's where I think, it's exactly the response you wanted to see from this team, and even to a much greater degree than, again, I would have ever expected.
And I think this is going to be the case for Vanderbilt now when they're playing teams that aren't really equipped to take advantage of their lack of size. That was the huge thing this past 3-game stretch. Bigs getting in foul trouble. Jalen Washington and McLaughlin at just being a major Achilles heel without Mason Nicholson playing. And so Mississippi State just not equipped to get those bigs into foul trouble. And the quote from Byington, direct quote, "We suck at rebounding." They come out and out-rebound Mississippi State, which, hey, it's Mississippi State's not one of the better rebounding teams in the league, but still, it's a response on the boards that you wanted to see. To put a little bit of perspective on the Mississippi State, they're 95th now in KenPom, 95th. Preseason, they were 26th. The previous low of the Chris Jans era was in year 1, the 2022-2023 season, where it was Rams Davis, Shaq Moore, DJ Jeffries, Cam Matthews, Tolu Smith. After a January 17th loss at home, 70-59 against Tennessee. They were 60th in KenPom. That is the previous low. So this is the Chris Jans low analytically by over 35 spots here. So just to frame some perspective, I don't think that Chris Jans should be on the hot seat for one poor season after making the tournament 3 years in a row. However, just to put it into perspective, 95th right now after being preseason 26th.
Yeah, that's something. Like we said, we did not probably have the highest of expectations for Mississippi State, but I just kept leaning on they usually find a way to get it done, and it's like you were thinking, all right, here they come after that 2-0 start, but the way it's played out now in these 5 games, which has been a tough schedule, but again, it's just how you're losing to. It obviously is going to make an impact, and now you kind of go into you don't talk about a pressure-packed sort of schedule, like at LSU and at Missouri next week. Like those are 2 games that feel so winnable, yet feel so far away probably right now when it comes to just how you're playing. So you gotta have those. And too, yes, like I know Wes Nash Door brings up like we've said, like this is not an easy job. So anyone who wants to act like Mississippi State is just going to all of a sudden shell out the amount of money that's going to compete with the top part of the SEC, I don't know if that's ever going to happen. So I don't know if that's realistic, but still, you also can understand obvious frustration if you're a Mississippi State fan, just based on the way they're playing right now. So, yeah, because like I'm looking at the rest of their schedule too, Max. Like, I don't know. Like, I mean, there's not many wins.
Tough.
Yeah, there. So, but it's the SEC this year.
What this is also doing, Blake, in turn, is it's really hurting Texas a little bit because Texas lost at home to Mississippi State. And Mississippi State just having a cliff dive off the analytics, that's in turn dragging down Texas a little bit, tiny bit, but it ain't helping them for a team on the bubble that you need every little bit of help you can get. It's affecting the Longhorns' chance.
Yeah. I mean, Mississippi State came into this at 99 in the net. They're going to drop probably at least.
They were 99 before?
Yeah.
Ugh.
They're going to drop. They could drop 10 or more spots, I think, coming out of this. So, yeah, it's not going to be helpful, which is where now you get into, like, again, who you're playing. So, like, I mentioned next week they're playing LSU and Missouri. You want to talk about must-wins for LSU and Missouri. You can't lose those games now because you're playing, again, a team that's now going to be sub-100 in the net. So that can't happen. Yeah, it's a tricky one there for the Bulldogs moving forward.
Yeah, definitely. That's going to be the landmine now.
Yeah. So, by the way, did you see Texas A&M hit 12 threes in the first half or 11 threes in the first half against South Carolina, the best three-point shooting defense in the SEC, right?
It was the Zach Clements game. Zach Clements started 4 of 4 from 3.
Unbelievable.
Just like we thought.
We sat there and are trying to come up with all these ideas of how South Carolina wins this thing. And we said, well, there is one area. That is their three-point defense. Texas A&M comes out and just cannot miss. Boy. Meanwhile, Texas has flipped the script on Georgia here. I'm a little surprised by that. But
tight game.
Tight game. Not so tight game in College Station.
No.
The Aggies could be up 40 here soon. All right. There you go. Some thoughts on these first 2 early games. I think I've thawed out a little bit now, Max, which means now I just got to go back out, see if I can get a little bit more of the snow off the driveway. See, we're on a big slant, big hill.
What is your exact temperature? What are you working with right now?
Oh, it's probably, 18, 19. But again, the problem is not the snow.
I've got 18.
Right? Well, the problem is not the snow,
like 4.
right? It's the ice. And that's where we're about to hit the line where this hard snow is coming down. It's just going to quickly change to just hard freezing rain. And the ice is going to start piling up. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys right now, our schedule, TBD for the rest of the evening and probably for the next couple of days. Max should be fine. But listen, if we don't have power here, maybe I'll just call in. Maybe I'll call in on the phone. Old talk radio.
Yeah.
I'll just be the call-in guy. But no, we'll figure it out. So, okay, more games being played right now. Our plan, I think, is to come back after. Oh, what did we say?
We've got honestly, Auburn, Florida at 3 and LSU, Arkansas at 4.
Honestly, I think we're not going to come back probably until Arkansas LSU after that game. So that will be a 5-game slate we will recap then with Texas, Georgia, Texas A&M, South Carolina, which is over, Missouri, Oklahoma, Florida, Auburn, Arkansas, LSU. That's how we're going to have to structure it today. So based on all these game times getting moved around. And then tonight, assuming I have power, I think we will plan to do something tonight after Alabama, Tennessee. But TBD on that. We'll make it work.
I'll have to send you my awards.
Yes, you will have to send me your awards. Max will not be available for that stream tonight. However, we will get Max's 34 awards for the day, and all that. And so, that's our plan. So, all
right,
there you have it.
So back after Arkansas.
Back after Arkansas, which again means I know there's a lot of games that'll be done before then, but we're going to recap them all after Arkansas, probably around 6 Central. So that's the plan right now. So turn on your notifications as always. That way you know for sure. You can check out the thing Jay and I did this morning on the Ole Miss and Clemson saga, tampering.
Craziness going on right now.
Just craziness.
College sports.
Yeah. All right. We appreciate you guys. Thanks as always for watching. And by the way, I forgot to bring this up earlier. Favorite pastime the past couple of days here, watching Max go off on Twitter about Bediako.
Oh, it's great.
That is true. By the way, Wes Nash-Door asks, what'll be the Vandy Kentucky line?
Good question.
Hold on. Let me look that up real quick.
That will be Vandy.
I'd say
-5.5, -6.5.
That's exactly what I was going to say. I was going to say 5.5. I think it'd be Vandy 5.5 to start.
Vandy 5.5.
Could be pushed more towards Kentucky, but I think it's going to be Vandy 5.5 is open.
Vandy will float somewhere around like -200 on a money line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big Baller Brett's heading to Coleman Coliseum. I think
Stay safe,
the weather's
Brett.
fine. I think the weather's supposed to be fine in Tuscaloosa. I think it's rain. Lucky. I'd give anything to just have nothing but rain right now. So, yeah. All right. We're out of here. Appreciate you guys. Stay warm. Stay safe. And we'll talk to you here in just a bit at Southeastern 16, presented by And Collar, andcaller.com. Boy, I almost forgot. To the final word there. Wow, the snow just is cold. It affects your. For the people who hung on, they didn't hop off yet. They're like, woo, that was close.
Wow.
And Collar, andcaller.com. Performance menswear, pants, suits, polos, quarter zips, pants again. You need all of them right now. Button-ups, put them all on at the same time in this cold. And don't forget, 16% off over there, SEC16. They got all kinds of great stuff, right? Just tremendous assortment of talent over there. If you think your team's got talent, they got talent over there at And Collar. Incredible stuff. SEC16 for 16% off over at And Collar. Yeah, if you're going to go play hockey in the street, as Brian is, put on your quarter zip. You know, if you want to be Mr. Tough, put on the polo.
Ooh.
You know, just wear a polo out there. That's all you need. I can't suggest that. Don't listen to that advice. It's cold out there. Suit up, as we keep saying, over at And Collar. And head over to our friends at ROKFORM, ROKFORM.com. The world's strongest magnetic phone case, extreme protection, super strong magnets, rock lock, secure mounting, ROKFORM.com, SEC25 for 25% off over at ROKFORM. All right, now we're out of here. We appreciate you guys for watching.
At the buzzer.
Talk to you soon. Southeastern 16 presented by FanDuel.